Hi everyone, happy Friday evening. Thank you for joining me. Tonight we're going to be making a shelf, little decorative shelf for our wall. Um, okay, not sure if that was working or not. Um, Good afternoon, good evening, happy Friday everyone. My name is Wendy Fuller with Empty Nest Creations. And tonight we're going to be making a decorative shelf. Um, Out of supplies that I've had around the house. So I'm going to show you what we're going to use, and then we're going to get started. So what we're going to be using tonight is an old canvas. These are just 8x10 canvases. Um, with the wood frame, and we're just going to be using the wood frame. So what I did um, was I went around and I pulled out all the staples. That takes a little bit of time and a little bit of strength. Just used a screwdriver and some pliers and pulled all the staples out. Now, I've seen other people just take a blade and cut around that canvas to remove it. You can do that if you want to. I just wanted a nice clean back. So let me show you what I have. So this is the frame. It's got a nice little beveled edge to it. And the back is nice and flat. I've removed all the staples from the back. So we're going to use that. And then I found this wood plaque. It's a hanging sign. I got this one at the Dollar General. It is, let's see if I can measure it on my little pad down here. It is about 4.5 inches wide. It probably tells me on here. Ooh, okay. I'm measuring from the wrong end. Okay, so it's about 5 inches. It's 5 inches wide and 12 inches long. Okay, and it came with this little rope. I pulled that off the back, and then I just kind of laid it under my canvas and marked this edge right here. And then I took it out to my saw. I have a radial arm saw, and I just cut it so that it fits right inside here. Now it's a tight fit. Oops, might be. Let's see. Might have to sand it down a little more. Yeah, I think we're going to sand it down a little more. So we'll do that. We'll sand this down and find. Okay, we're going to have to sand that down. Let me grab my sandpaper. Alright, so I'm just going to sand this edge. So I do want it to be a tight fit. And the problem is I measured it on my other frame instead of this one. I already made one as a sample. So I'm just sanding this to take it down some, a little bit more. I should have checked that before I started. Just a little more. Little sanding, a little more. Sorry about that. Thought I had this all set, ready to go. Close. We're getting there. if I were doing this outside or not on a live video, I would take it out and use my electric sander. It would work faster. I cut 2 of these down at the same time and they fit perfectly inside the other frame. I should have checked it in this one. Okay. I hope you guys have had a good week. I'm really happy it's Friday. It's been a pretty long week for me. Alright, so what I'm using is just a sanding sponge and a 120 grit sandpaper. Okay. That's really close. I'm getting there. So if you're going to make 2, make sure that it fits in both frames. Okay, so there. It fits really, really tight in there. But because I'm using this as a shelf, I'm going to want to glue it. We're going to reinforce it, okay? But that's... You want to make sure that your board fits really well in there. And of course, this is how much was left over. So we're going to save that piece for another project. Now the other things that we're going to be using, just a couple other pieces. I have these tumbling tower blocks. And the set that I purchased has dark brown pieces. And then these natural pieces. So we're gonna paint the frame black, and I'm gonna paint these natural pieces black. And I'm gonna leave these brown because they blend in a little bit better. And these we're gonna use as our kind of L bracket for our shelf. So once they're painted, we'll glue these in, and then this one will go on top like this, and our shelf will sit right on there. Okay. So we're going to start by painting the frame and these 2 natural pieces black. And I'm just using Waverly chalk paint in ink, the color ink tonight. This covers really, really well, so it shouldn't take but 1 coat. Now this is a canvas frame, so on the inside of the frame, that you can see where it was put together. If that bothers you, you can use some wood filler and fill that in. These canvases were, my son was an art major in college, and so these are projects that he did while he was in college, and he didn't want to take these with him. So I'm just going to reuse these canvases. They've been sitting in the closet for quite a while now. But this is something that you can find at the flea market pretty regular. Just, things that children have painted or someone's painted and they don't want them anymore and they donate them to Goodwill or to another thrift store. So this is something that you can easily find at the thrift store. And I know Dollar Tree sells some canvases. I don't know if they have this kind with the wood frame in it. I know they have some with just the canvas wrapped around the cardboard. And I know they have some smaller ones with the wood frame. So you can check at Dollar Tree. We also have a store here called Ollie's. that sells discounted items, and I know that they have sets of canvases that you can purchase at a really reasonable price. So I'm just going into those little cutouts inside the frame and just painting inside there. That'll kind of help it to blend in and maybe not stand out as much. But I'm not really worried about it because I'm going to put, there'll be some decorative items on the shelf. And so hopefully that will draw people's attention and not the little slits that are in the frame. But like I said, you can fill those in with wood putty if you want to. You could also just use a wood frame that you buy at the flea market for this. Take the glass out and would work the same way. But I'm using what I had on hand. I did see this. This is Pinterest inspired. So this is not my original idea. I saw this on Pinterest. And I'm looking for something to put on a wall in my dining room. And so I thought these would be really cute. So I've just painted the outside and the inside. And now I'm going to lay that down and paint the top. I'm not really worried about the back. You could finish the back if you wanted, but it's going to be against the wall, so you're not going to be able to see it. This chalk paint really covers really well on the first one I made. It covered in one coat. I'm just making sure to put a nice, good coat on. Try to get everything covered so we don't have to do any touch-ups. But we can if we need to, and I've got my heat gun so we can dry it quickly. Alright, so now I'm going to paint these little pieces. I'll paint one side, dry them, and then I'll paint the other side. You do want to paint both sides because you're going to be able to see it when you glue it to the frame. You'll be able to see a little bit of it. So we do need to paint the front and the back. Okay. Alright, so just set that right there for a moment. Let me grab a wipe. Get some of this off my fingers. Didn't do too bad. And then we'll dry this real quick. Right. See a couple of spots. I'm just going to hit them with the brush while I'm drying it. See a couple spots on this side. I'm going to hit those with the paint. Check the top. I couldn't even see that real well. So in some of the places the paint soaks in, so you might want to, just hit it with the brush again. I'm going to flip these over and paint the other side. So I heard today that March is National Craft Month. Didn't know that. That's cool. So there'll be a lot of crafters online doing a lot of different things. So check them out. Let me dry this real quick and we'll be ready to move on. Okay. That's pretty dry. Get this paint off my hand. The brush and water. Close that up. We're done with that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put it together. It'll be pretty much done. It's amazing how I get paint everywhere. Alright, so we're going to take these two pieces that we painted black, and I'm going to glue them right here at the base to start my little L bracket for my shelf. And I'm just using hot glue. You could use wood glue. So I just put a little bit of glue on there, and I'm going to put it right here on the bottom edge. And I want to make sure that this is flush on the back and that it's pushed all the way down because I want it to lay flat against the wall. Alright, so that one's on. We'll put the other one on. That. Make sure it's flush on the back and pushed all the way down. And that's the reason, I don't know if you can see right here, you can see that side sticking out a little bit, and so that's why I painted both sides of that black. Still getting paint on me, so it must not be completely dry. Okay, so now we're going to take the two brown pieces and we're going to glue them sticking out like this. This is going to be just a little anchor or a little platform for the shelf to sit on. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this edge and on the bottom of that piece to glue it on there. So just a little here, right there. And then we're going to glue that on, again making sure that it stays level, flush on the back, so that it can sit against the wall flat. Okay, so that's what we have. We'll do the other side. And here, and here. And then glue that down. And I want to push down from the top as well to make sure it's nice and level and flat. Okay, so that's what we have so far. So now we're going to take our shelf and we're going to slide it in, and it fits tight. You want it to fit really tight. It's really, really tight. Okay. And it's sitting right on top of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of tilt it up. And I'm going to add some glue onto those brackets. And then fold it back down and hold it until that glue has a moment to set up. Okay, so that's our shelf. Now the last thing I want to do is where I cut these edges, you've got just really raw wood right there. And I want it to kind of blend in with the stained board. The board that I cut was already stained. So I'm going to take some of my Waverly Antique Wax. I'm going to take a baby wipe. And I'm just going to put a little bit of wax on there, and I'm just going to rub it in on this edge. Rub it in, and then wipe it away. And that just makes that edge darkened up like that. So it doesn't look like raw wood. I'm just rubbing the top where it kind of got on the top a little bit, blending that in. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just rubbing that antiquing wax in. Now, I see that I got a place where I got some glue on that edge, and the wax will not adhere to the glue, so we're going to take care of that. I'm just going to take a little tool. Let's see if I can find the knife. Okay. So, see that spot that's sticking out right there? That's where the glue is. The glue seeped out and got on that edge. So I'm just going to take my knife, and I'm just going to scrape that off. Scrape all that glue off, and then it should cover up. Okay. Just like that. So that is our finished shelf. Now, I have another one. I made two. So here's the other one. So, and you can, the ones I saw on Pinterest had the shelf at different levels. And they didn't use the Jenga blocks, the tumbling tower blocks. I don't know if they nailed them in or what, but they had them at different levels. And they had a couple of them. So a shelf here, maybe a shelf up higher. You could do that. And you could use the tumbling tower blocks to do that. If I were going to do that, I would probably stack the black ones up to the height that I wanted my shelf, just so it gives it some support, so that it doesn't, fall down or tilt. Now let me show you. I found this really cute rain boot at Walmart, and so just a decor piece like that would sit on there. We made this our Easter decoration a couple of weeks ago. That would sit on there real nice. And you could, depends on how you want to hang them. You could put a hanger on the back, just like a sawtooth hanger, and hang it. You could use the rope that came off of the signs. It's just the rope. And you could just staple that to the back and hang it from the rope. I'm probably going to use the Command Velcro strips to hang mine. It's got a nice flat back, so you could do that. And that just makes it easy. And it won't tilt if you put something. Like if I put the boot on one end and I put something else lighter on the other side, it might tilt depending on how you hang it. So the Command strips will keep them nice and straight on the wall. Okay, so that was a super quick, easy little craft. You could, like I said, I used my tool outside, my radial arm saw, to cut these. But you can cut these with just a handsaw. So it's super, super simple. Um, Let me know what you think about these. And if you try them, let me know. Send me a picture. I'd love to see it. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you have a great weekend and enjoy National Crafting Month. Good night.